Hey, just a quick live here to give you and break down what is the most important decision before you run Facebook ads. And we're going to cover how to create a no-brainer offer for your audience so that even if you don't have the best Facebook copy, even if you don't have the right image, you'll still get all those conversions. You'll still get that money coming in the door because you have an audience, you have an offer that speaks to your audience and compels them to buy. And I'll show you a few examples in just a second, one of which I actually bought in the last week, and I'll break down why I actually did that. So this is the first time joining one of my lives. I'm Brian Czekanski, better known as the Mom Copywriter, because I specialize in companies and coaches that focus on moms as their audience. So this is one of the things that I love coming in about. Like, again, when I make a purchase, trying to kind of dissect, like, okay, what were some of the reasons why? And I want to kind of go through some of the offers that are out there, some of which, again, one of which that kind of became more compelling, and one in my email box that I didn't take advantage of, but I think you'll see, again, how it's really compelling, how like one of those decisions where like this is a complete no-brainer, especially if you don't have this solution altogether. So how do you really create no-brainer offers? It's all about kind of sitting in your audience's shoes and trying to get a sense for like, what is that menu of options that they are considering for that possible solution? What's that problem that you're solving? But now, what are those things that they've tried in the past and kind of failed at and haven't been able to get success? But what are they also considering, and what kind of other offers that are out there? And most people don't do this work. They kind of create an offer, they put it out there, and they hope for the best. But by really canvassing and kind of sitting in your client's shoes, you can kind of get a sense for like, okay, they're considering these options, especially if you're running Facebook ads. You have the Facebook ad library to go around to your competitors, see what's in their Facebook ads, see what links they're using. Are they using a webinar, a landing page, and what are they using within those pages to potentially get conversions? So you have all the information there. It's just a matter of doing a little bit more digging to get even better results, lower lead costs, more conversions by doing a little bit of research. In that way, you can kind of get an idea of how can you differentiate your offer, but kind of creating an offer that just makes it a complete no-brainer. There's no objections. There's no questions. You have, like, it's just a matter of like, how soon do they buy? Again, this will make a little bit more sense once I show you some of these examples, but it's really something that you should take advantage of. Again, making sure that your solution hits that problem that, there's a large audience that needs it solved, and then kind of digging a little bit deeper into making it the most convenient way possible, putting it at a price point that makes sense, and kind of showing in your success path how they can get to that potential benefit they're looking for. So complete visibility all along the way. So let me just get into an example to kind of bring it a little bit more to life. Just give me a second. And this is the first one that, again, this is an offer that I bought just last week. So let's kind of go through it. It's, the offer right here is from somebody that I was referred to. His name is kind of Knees Over Toes Guy. And what he does is he has a monthly program, which he calls ATG, which is all about solving knee problems for people, of various different athletic. You can see he's been on Joe Rogan, and you can get a sense for what he has here. And you can see the slogan here: do what you love without pain, then become a world-class athlete. But again, it doesn't, it's not necessarily, that's what it's targeted for. And, me being a former athlete really appealed to me. So I've been dealing with knee pain for a bunch of years now. And it all kind of goes down to less about the knee and more about ankle injury that I had probably going back to when I was a kid or a teenager. I just never really rehabbed it enough. Actually came about probably when I was in my 20s. I went to rehab. I went through that rehab process where you got to go into rehab once a week. You have to allocate 1 or 2 hours, and I would try and go to rehab, but I would kind of, once I got to the rehab place, got changed and went through that whole process. It was 2 hours in the afternoon, and I would try to go for those 2 hours in the afternoon. But one day my boss kind of sat me down and said, like, okay, like, I appreciate you're trying to get rehab and to fix your injury, but we can't have you just away from the office for 2 hours for a single day, every single week. It's just not possible. And actually, I didn't really love rehab as it is. It was a really slow process, really slow healing process. So I did some of the work. I just didn't rehab it enough. And that's what eventually led to these kind of knee problems. And for me, it wasn't a ton of knee pain. It kind of just feels like a flat tire when I'm, trying to play basketball or trying to jump off my left knee. It just doesn't, it just doesn't really move the way it used to. And for me, again, like looking at that rehab process of going through, finding the right rehab specialist, going out there, and for me, it was probably paying about $50 out of pocket to do it. So not a huge expense, but I think that kind of sets up the offer here a little bit more. And kind of getting to like, okay, this is an online program where you don't have to go to a rehab professional. You can do it in, kind of the convenience of your own home, which obviously makes sense during a pandemic right here. It kind of builds upon itself. So you can see the three different levels of what we're trying to do here. So it starts out with kind of a body weight program and then builds up to some strength. And then you have some equipment here at the end. So each of these things are 12 weeks in general. So you're building up to where you want to be. Again, if you kind of reach a milestone, your knee is feeling better and things like that, you could obviously take off from the program. But the idea is that you get up to being a world-class athlete again, especially if you were, get out of that pain, but also have really healthy knees that kind of balance out. You're not having some of those issues along the way. So this was kind of a compelling option again, because I was having those knee problems. I'm getting back into basketball. So I want to be able to play at full strength. I don't want to have to jump and feel like my knee is tugging me towards the ground. So this was kind of an easy solution. Again, I can do it in my home. They give you exercises just on your app, 5 days a week. And the beauty of it is, especially as you go down here, is he really, he gives you an idea of what's in here. So he's giving you videos, and this is what the whole training is all about. It's all about giving you exercises through these videos, and each of the programs you can build up your, kind of the muscles around your knee so that it kind of relieves some of that knee pain. You have the knee strength to actually go out there and jump and do all those things. And the beauty of it is I came down to this FAQ section, and that's where, again, like using video as a powerful way to kind of explain what his program was all about. So I watched a series of these YouTube videos, kind of get a sense for like, okay, what is the step-by-step process? How is it going to get me up to the level where I want to? Kind of provides some of the world-class athletes that are using some of the same exercises as well. So this is kind of a proven process that a lot of pro athletes in hockey, basketball, and everywhere else are using. And he shows you how you're building up in these exercises along the way. So you can show, like, just for me, who hasn't been rehabbing in a while, that hasn't really done anything around the knee, I can start from complete scratch. I'm not in a huge amount of pain, but I know I have to build up some of those muscles. And again, he kind of starts to think about like, what are those potential objections? So what would a rehab specialist tell you if you were trying to join an online program? They would tell you that you need somebody there to kind of correct your form and making sure you're doing the exercises correctly. So the beauty of this application is that he's actually, with the application, you can video some of the exercises that you're doing. And he has, him or somebody, a member of his team can actually view that video, give you corrections along the way via pictures or videos to show you saying like, okay, this is a good attempt, but maybe next time you use this correction as you go along. So again, kind of hitting at some of those objections. And the final capper for me was kind of looking at the price. So again, it's $49.95 a month. So again, thinking about it in my own mind, like if I went to rehab, like I'd probably be paying $50 a week. Compare that to this one, it makes, it's a no-brainer in terms of that price, because I'm ultimately paying for one rehab session, and he gives you workouts every 5 days a week. So I'm getting even more value from that. I'm still getting the corrections on my form to make sure that I'm doing these exercises correctly, and it's building up to the point where, again, I can go as far as I want to make sure that my knee is exactly where I want it to be. I can even go further and build up those muscles even better to make sure I'm at the right place and that there's no further injuries as well. So it was really the combination of understanding his process, looking at this program, kind of considering my other alternatives, which in this case was kind of going to rehab, traveling, taking that hour of working with a rehab specialist, paying that money, or can I do it in the, anytime I want at home in the convenience of my home, do it really quickly. I could do some exercise in the morning, some exercise in the afternoon. So if I want to break it up, that makes it even better. and it makes sense from a price perspective, and I'm still getting that coaching advice along the way. So that was one of the ones that I just thought was a no-brainer in terms of me thinking about a buyer. And the other one was just on this next page. It was an email from Jeff Walker that I got. He just launched a new book called Launch, which is kind of an updated book. And you can see the offer. If I go a little bit further down here, he's giving away his book for 99 cents on Kindle. And if you buy his book on Kindle for 99 cents, he's going to donate $2 to Charity Water, which just provides clean water projects to kind of impoverished communities throughout the world. So again, another one that kind of makes a no-brainer, like especially if you're in the marketing world and you want Jeff Walker's latest thinking, like easily get it for 99 cents. But then you have kind of that feel-good impact of, you're making this purchase, but you're also making an impact because he's going to donate $2 to Charity Water, even above your purchase. So again, a more no-brainer offer. And then it kind of gets to like, why is Jeff Walker doing this? And an easy way to kind of think about it is it's an easy way for him to get his book to be a bestseller. Again, a no-brainer type offer. People are taking him up on that. He gets number 3 on the Amazon bestseller list. He knows that once he's on the Amazon bestseller list, Amazon is going to promote his book even more, which is going to lead to even more sales. And he also thinks about like, okay, even if I give away this book for 99 cents and I give away $2 for Charity Water, I know that somebody buy the book for 99 cents. They're going to get into my philosophy. They're going to get into my process. And they're probably going to buy one of my other programs. So he has a bunch of other programs that start from $1,000 to for a one-time fee to $1,000 a month to probably $25,000 masterminds. So he knows that like one small purchase allows him to kind of identify buyers. You'll be on his email list. You'll be able to buy into his programs. And thinking about the lifetime value of his customer, he knows it's a no-brainer to, again, kind of subsidize people buying his book, but also making a donation to charity. He gets his book on the bestseller list. He can put that on the front of the book, which gives him even more credibility and gets even more people to buy it. Amazon's going to promote his book even more because it's on the bestseller list as well. So those were just kind of 2 easy examples that I saw to kind of bring that to the table. Again, think about like what are the things that you can do for your audience. What are they really compelled about? How can you kind of sit in their seat and think about like what other options are they potentially looking at? And how can I create a compelling offer that makes sense from a value perspective in terms of that process, getting them to that solution that they want the most. And the best part is once you've kind of proven that offer, once it's really compelling and people are taking you up on it again and again and again, that's when you can start running Facebook ads to make it even more scalable. And that's when you're going to get a positive ROI. And that's where you can scale up your ads as much as possible and really create a market share opportunity where you can outspend your competitors because you have this offer at the center of it that really makes sense. And then if you're watching my other lives, you can really dial in those other things like the Facebook ad copy, the images, having the right campaign, all those things to make sure that your Facebook ad is getting that positive ROI that you're looking for. But, all of that, even the best Facebook ad copy can't make up for an offer that, just isn't compelling. So, anytime that I work with any of my prospects that I talk to, the first thing I look at is like, what is the offer and what are some of those success stories? And is this something that's proven it? And is it distinct? I'll take a look at some of the competitors and get a sense for like, if the audience is sitting here, like, what are those other things that they might be considering? And is this distinctive enough? Is there something there that can really bring out and make this a no-brainer offer for this audience so that, I can scale this, using Facebook ads and make it, combine that with the expertise that I have from an ad copy perspective, from a targeting perspective, from an image perspective to make it really compelling. So again, sit in your clients and your prospects' shoes, take a look at what your competitors are putting out there and really think about like, okay, how can I make this distinctive enough it's not about always giving a discount, but it's also about like, what is your process? What is that way that you're going to give that solution? How can you get somebody there faster and quicker than everybody else? And how can you do it in a way that really makes sense? Again, going back to knees over toes guy, the ability to kind of do it in your own home and be able to get feedback via an app was really appealing to me, and can be really appealing to your audience. You really just have to know what are those other avenues that they're exploring, and how can you push your offer ahead of anything that's out there. So take a look at some of my next lives coming up. I'm going to do it a little bit later in the day, closer to 4 o'clock going forward. With that, I'll see you tomorrow with another live.